The exhibition represents the 79 men who died in the 141 days of the Battle of the Somme. The 79 men died from the valley. They served in 20 regiments, and they are buried or commemorated in 27 cemeteries or memorials across the battle area. The battle area was 14.5 miles long. It's classed as the Battle of the Somme, but in actual fact it was 12 different battles fought along that 14.5 mile front. So that's the various battles fought at the various dates. 1914, Kaiser Wilhelm said, "Put your contemptible little army onto the field." So in 1914,
Who said it?
Kaiser Wilhelm.
Oh, Wilhelm?
Yeah.
Oh.
So anybody that fought 1914, 1915, they were given the nickname of the Old Contemptibles, after he said, "Put your contemptible little army onto the field." They held the front line in Belgium for that 1 year while we brought the British Army up to strength with volunteer forces. So the Welsh Brigade, or Lloyd George's army, was the 38th Welsh Division, made up of territorial army battalions. So this panel tells you the number of the battalion and where the battalion were raised and what their objectives were given. This one explains the 113th Brigade, 114th and 115th Brigade, making up the 38th Welsh Division, what regiments were represented. Here you've got a British Tommy in full service field marching order with his Brady helmet on. The next panel is what battles were fought on what dates and where and by what regiments. Then we come across this one, which we slightly jumping the gun slightly. These names are all taken off the Roll of Honour that the Mighty Town Council commissioned for World War I and World War II. But the Roll of Honour is set out in alphabetical order. So when you look at it, it jumps about. You've got A's always starting at the beginning, and you've got a Welsh regiment, and you've got a Southwards borderer. Then when you come down to the D's and the C's and the E's and the F's, these regiments keep recurring. So what I did with this one, I put them back into their regiments, and I put them back into their battalions, so it's easy to check up on. So the Welsh Regiment, the Southwards Borderers, the Royal Welsh Fusiliers, and then they also served in various other regiments. So you've got the Welsh Guards, you've got the Prince Albert Somerset Light Infantry, you've got the Grenadier Guards, and all the way down the line. So they are the regiments in which they fought along that 14.5 mile front and in various battles. We come on to this one explains the battlefield. So you have the battlefield map and photographs or images taken of that particular part of the battlefield. The total desolation. That's the map of the whole of the battlefield. Then it's broken down into the various battles starting at different dates. Obviously, the Battle of the Somme started at the 1st of July 1916 and went on to the 18th of November 1916. So on the 1st of July, after four days continuous bombardment, the guns fell silent. Whistles were heard blowing along the whole of the front line, and that was the signal for the infantry to come out of the trenches and walk across no man's land.
What date was that?
That was the 1st of July 1918.
Oh!
1916.
Oh, 1916.
Yeah. On each of the regiments, we're told, given their objectives, and that is just the Battle of Albert, but there's a loose leaf binder there which tells you the objective they had to achieve on that first day. Because obviously when they attacked Mametz Wood, which is the one we are famous for, the Welsh Division, we lost 4,000 men. So if you come across to this one, that's the actual roll taken from the Council's Roll of Honour. So we've got 437 men killed in my state in World War I.
Really?
And I've taken the 79 men out of that to perform a small exhibition. So you've got the 79 men, and then the various cards is where I've found where they lived or their families lived at that point in time in 1916. This one is images of the war graves or the memorials in which the 79 men from my stake are either commemorated or buried. Thiefal is the one that's been on the news most recently, and they are just names on a memorial, so those bodies are still in the ground. They haven't been found. They're only commemorated by when they called the roll at the end of the battle. Those names were, nobody said, yeah.
So that's the deer.
That's FIFA, that's the one that's been on the news most
Oh, that's
recently.
on the front there. Yeah.
Okay. And my state's connection with World War I is Christopher Williams, the artist. He painted the charge of the Welsh or the 38th Brigade at Mametz Wood. Christopher was a my stake boy, born in my stake. His father kept a shop in Commercial Street. Christopher's mother died when he was very young, and he was farmed out to a family in Nantes to look after him. It was a mining family, and as Christopher grew up, he started learning to swear. So his father had him back. Okay. David Watts, Welsh Rugby International, played for my state rugby club. He went into the King's Shropshire Light Infantry. He never came home. And the rest of it around the table is where we've researched individual members' record cards. The three medals would be the 1914-15 Star, the War Medal or the Memorial or the Victory Medal. If they had the three, they would have been volunteers. If you take away the Star on only two medals, the War Medal, the Victory Medal, they would have been conscripts. And the connection of this building with conscription is the only way you could get out of being conscripted is if you appealed. And those appeals were heard in the council chamber. So you'd have the appeals committee, you'd have the chair, you have a military representative, you have an agricultural representative, you have a few justices of the peace. You would be expected to stand there and plead your case. And if they found that there was no case to plead, they'd either say, you've got to go now, or they give you X number of months to put your business in order, and then you'd have to turn up at your appointed place.
Have you got the names of the ones that tried, tested, you then?
I've got some. And this is their objective. So the Battle of the Somme, Albert, the Battle of Albert, 1st of July to the 13th of July 1916, they were set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 objectives. And they had to achieve those objectives before they could say it was success. And that's for every small battle they were given. Some of them were just told to capture a farm. And then in the case of the Mametz Wood, they were told to take the complete wood. It took them quite a few days. I can read you something now. Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Jones, the 27 Railway Terrace, Cairo, have received a notification that their son, David Jones, aged 20, died of wounds in France. He joined up in March 1917, has been in active service since August last year, attached to the 8th Gloucester Regiment. Before enlisting, he was engaged as a collier at Cairo Colliery. Okay. Quite a few other things you can look at. We've got life in the trenches, the military weapons, and they served throughout the 4 years of the war. They served in 53 regiments, and we've got a catalogue of all the cap badges of the regiments they served in. There's been some help because people have been coming in with old photographs, didn't know what regiment their relatives served with. But we've been able to enlarge the photograph and then go through this and try and find out what's red, because sometimes it's only a cap badge and it's only a collar dog. But we can narrow it down to, with the last time we did it, we've narrowed it down to a field of two. So they could take these photographs away, use a magnifying glass on their photograph, and then they'll come back and let us know. So all in all, we've been having about 10 people coming in a day, and 6 of those 10 have either come in looking for information, or they brought bits of information in, or we've been able to help them increase the knowledge. Okay?
Sure. Let's try to it.
It's a long way to Tipperary. It's a long way to go. It's a long way